Hi, everybody. Ricky here from Behind the Bars TV. And today's guest is a fellow who a lot of you will probably know. He's already been on the podcast before. But me and Kev go back to 2006 when I first met him in HMP Franklin. But Kev, if you'd just like to introduce yourself.
Hi, everybody. So my name's Kevin Lane. I served a 20-year sentence for murder. I have been in prison for kidnapping as well, although it wasn't the same offence. I've now been released into society, and I'm currently launching a new product into this country in a new design for a home using modern methods of construction. So that's where I'm at now. Here to tell you, I'm in a bit of work gear, so you'll have to just suffer that.
Well, Kev, it's nice to see you out
today.
Nice to see you out and nice to see you doing well, because that's what this channel is all about. It's about interviewing ex-prisoners who are out doing good for themselves, turn their lives around, and showing people that just because we're being to prison doesn't mean we're bad people or it's the end of the line.
No, absolutely. The thing is, so I went to prison for contract killing. I don't mean this egotistically. I'll give it to you as it is. I was labelled the #1 contract killer in the country, £100,000 a hit. I think they were talking about when the old woman used to hit me, not the other way round. As you know, Ricky, I was in Franklin with you. I was triple category A, and people have got to stop saying I'm talking bollocks. Triple category A existed. Exceptional risk existed. I was held at exceptional risk, AAA, whilst on remand, with the IRA godfathers, Andy Russell, Wayne Hohen, God rest his soul, he's dead now, I don't believe in God, but it's a saying, and other people of his ilk, like the Nottingham safe robber, Valerio Velici. They were at exceptional risk at one time, and a few others, of course. I was downgraded through the system, came onto the mains, and I met you in Franklin, Ricky, didn't I?
You did, but you were still cat here when I was in Franklin with you. It was when I left you got downgraded, didn't you, to Cat B?
Yeah, I got Cat B. So I've come home from prison. I've set up a business, and I'm a law-abiding citizen. However, I have to be mindful every single day and do a risk assessment of where I go, who I may be going with, and who I mix with, because of my life sentence.
And like you've just mentioned, because life license, it feels like you're walking on eggshells, like you've just mentioned. But for the viewers, what you're referring to there was, Kev, for some of them that might not have seen the documentary, were you referring to the way you might have come across at the end of that documentary?
Yeah, because I get up at one point and I clearly got the bleeding ump. But what people don't know is when I had my houses delivered that day, there was tens of thousands of pounds worth of damage to them that I unwrapped to find out. Could you imagine how I felt?
Oh, anyone would be annoyed at that, wouldn't they?
I was gutted, devastated. And then I had to take the interview after seeing my home that I've designed. I've flown to Turkey. I've seen it in its finished glory, to be transported into England, delivered in the meadow, for the crows to break holes in the Stremford polyester wrapping, pierced holes in it, and then we had a downpour in October, which everyone might recall or might not recall. And of course, it brought all of my ceilings down in my brand new barn. So I was devastated. I then took the interview whilst feeling devastated. And then my friends and workers, they was obviously having a jovial time outside the interview. And they'd been asked once to, come on, lads, keep it down.
Yeah.
And then it happened again. So that made me look aggressive. And it made me look like I was having a go at my children, where I wasn't.
But that's what they do with these documentaries, don't they? Like, they do so much filming and they take bits out that they want to, and you've got no control over how they're going to make you look, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm going to have more control over it in future. I did that last summer, that documentary. There's 2 days worth of filming. To be fair, some of the questions that were being put to me, I knew the nature of that question and where it was going. And for instance, when I said, and you are in society, and I went, yes, as if to say, I can be violent and I'm in society. But it didn't look too clever. But I thought, I'm going to answer this for the benefit of Charlie. And I might have to take a bit on the chin here, which I have done. But so he's handing his food to Franny Quinn at the door. So you take your tray. When he's took the tray, this bleeding Harry Merzer's hit him. I come in back to the unit. I said, well, and he come for me, this Harry geezer did. I was on a visit. He come with 4 screws to take me off of a visit. It's only meant to be 2 to escort me back. I'm in the unit. I ain't going anywhere. He came back with 4 screws set about me. 2 of them went to hospital. And 2 had a few bruises on them. But I was in the block in a strip cell. All my ligaments in my arm were ripped, where he had to be rugby tackled off of me on camera. And when it came to the camera footage, it had been the camera weren't working.
Oh, typical.
Yeah. And I had my arm in a sling for 6 weeks, where he ripped all the ligaments in my arm. When I was CNR in me, but he was standing the other side of my head this way and pulling my arm back past my head. That's what he was trying to do. So, and he got rugby tackled off of me, and then he left the job in the end. Don't know why. But that's the type of thing you got to put up with in them units or in the blocks. Not very good.
So, Kev, where was it that you met Charlie, and when was it?
Whitemore, Belmarsh, Franklin blocks.
All in the blocks. Have you ever been on the wings with him?
No, because he was always in the control centres, and then I was in special secure units. The only time I met Charlie is when I was in Belmarsh unit. He was in the block there. I was in the block. I was in the block. He was on the wing to begin with, and then he took the Iranian hostages, didn't he?
Oh, right. Oh.
And he made them tickle his feet. He did. Our lives could have made a hell of a lot worse if they'd have all been arseholes.
Oh, absolutely, aye. Like you say, they're not all bad. Obviously, we've come across a lot of good screws inside.
I've never screwed any, but I've come across a few good screws. I wouldn't mind his screwing. During my 20-year sentence, get up with you, baby. But respectively, yeah. I would never speak like that about a lady on the landing. The ladies always just say, oh, Kevin's very polite and that, Joking aside, and I apologise to all you lady viewers. I'm only having a laugh. But, yeah.
Kev used to put his best clothes on a Friday when he had a couple of drinks with the hooch to see the ladies on the landing, didn't you?
A bit of a dance.
Bit of aftershave on.
Bit of aftershave on, polish his shoes. I was ready for anyone. Yeah, some good nights there. So, to be a prison officer in England, I think it's training 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Argentina's 4 years.
Fucking hell. Why
do we have to spray people with pepper spray when you could spray a gas in the room to make them go to sleep? Why do you have to have the violence, pepper spray, cut your clothes off you, rip your clothes off you, whatever, zip tie you or cuff you, and then carry you like you're a dead deer? That's how I used to be carried by them, sods. And they used to touch me up and all, but I wouldn't say nothing about that.
That was just a little bit extra for you.
Yeah, a bit of extra. Hey, go on then, get your finger out my arse. I didn't say you could do that. So there's a way in which that I feel that the punishments in prison keep you in prison. Because they say you're being violent in prison, but it's run on violence, isn't it? As I said on there.
But a lot of it as well. A lot of the prisoners, is like Charlie and a lot of the lads we've met, Kev, and a lot of the IPPs, they've got mental health problems. What about these ADHD, autism, things like that that's making these prisoners behave in such a way, but they're getting punished for it instead of treated.
Yeah, that's fair comment, that. So I've got a few friends who have been armed robbers and such in the past. One of them, I was only 14 when he got banged up, was my mate's dad. He was banged up in Norway. He had a phone in his cell then. He used to have, he was allowed to have a lady of the night come in every so often, but you had to have behaved for that. You didn't get that privilege if you didn't behave. Your family could come in over a weekend and they stayed in quarters, like a bungalow type, in the grounds for the whole weekend. That kept family ties together.
Yeah.
So you were not going off having 3 or 4 kids with different men as a result of husbands not being allowed home, or you not being allowed to have your contact with them. That was, blimey, 30 odd years ago, way ahead of us. We seem to be doing things very wrong still. And one of that friend of mine that we're talking about there in Norway, and 2 further friends of mine who are armed robbers. He was a drug dealer, that friend of mine. My friend's dad, actually. He got 30 years, like I say. It was like the craze sentence years ago.
If they're not going to give any of them sort of facilities, they should put the money into building better facilities in the prisons to train them up instead of, yourself. It's like most prisons is 23-hour lockdown, lying on your bed all day. That's why
you was always on the rope, wouldn't you? You was always like, oh, read me a story from the Razzle. read me a story out the window, Kev. I never had Razzle, by the way. Never. Playboy. So, yeah, them poor blighters in there now, what they're going through. But there's not the same prisons as when we were last left, Ricky.
I know. It's totally changing, aren't they? They seem to be getting worse all the time. Was there
death is always in the air in the high security estate, Rick, isn't it?
It is. It's a dangerous place, isn't it?
Very dangerous. You become accustomed to it because you're living it.
Yeah.
You go on a roller coaster ride every day of your life. Soon you'll be going to sleep on it. You get so used to it. It's pretty much like the prison system, isn't it? You don't get used to it. You just become numb to it.
But in them high security prisons, obviously, I've only done Franklin. You've obviously done the majority of them. It's not very often things happen, but when it does kick off, it kicks off big style. And it's like the violence that's happening in there is fucking, well, people's trying to kill you, aren't they, if they're after you?
I'll stab you, foil on you. Oh, it's atrocious. It's very, very worrying, to be truthful with you. I wouldn't want to go back into that system now. Like, what sane man would?
Chucking pans of hot oil over people, fucking gay. It's terrible, isn't it?
I'll tell you what I'll do now, mate, if I went in there, and it was on TV the other week, and I've been telling people this since I come home. If ever I got a long sentence again, I don't anticipate me getting a long sentence, but just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
I'd get myself a pair of tits and I'd get over the woman's nick.
Be like, wouldn't it?
I'll don't be banged up a few women. I'll get in the married quarters, wouldn't I?
Give yourself the chop.
Well, no, they give you a pill now to stop you getting the old bono.
Yes. Sitting next door to Franklin.
I'll be snugged up to a nice brassiere. That's the way this country's going. They're letting you say, I want to be identified as Amy now, and I'm going over the woman's nick. They seem to be putting more money into that than they do rehabilitation. You know what, though, Rick? Thank God we can turn the flip side and laugh about the sadness of what you're actually doing. And it's great, fair play to you, Rick, mate. You've come out, you've turned your life around, and you're a product of society, you are now, and you're doing good in society. Yeah. And, I'll tip my hat to you, mate. And if I can do anything to help you, then please, just ask.
Absolutely, mate. Nice one. But again, I'm another one of them. Same sort of sentence as Charlie, like yourself, IPP. Can't really, even though you're doing well with your life, you've still got this hanging on you for the rest of your life until they see fit to take it away from you. And it just feels like a constant drain on your back.
Well, like I say, I risk assess now where I go and what I do in terms of, do I go to a football match? Who's playing? Is that team a bit rowdy? Have they had a fight? The last time they played, did it kick off there? That may seem mad to some people. Look, say Newcastle played West Ham. and there was a massive fight. Then them supporters want a bit of retaliation on the next game. I wouldn't go. I wouldn't go to that. If there was a kickoff at that game, the previous game, I wouldn't go. And it's that type of research that I have to do. Who they playing, what the crowd's like. And then, you know, well, I should say I shouldn't have to lead my life like that, but unfortunately,
I do the same, Kev. Like you've got to, haven't you? Because otherwise, you could end up in a situation when you've just mentioned there about the football. Yeah, there's a couple of lads that I know went down to Wembley at the weekend, Newcastle against Man U, and as they were coming out, they hadn't been drinking. They're walking out, and they seen some Newcastle fan getting his head booted all over of two Man U lads, and one of them went to intervene, and they all got roped in with a big brawl. If you were in that situation, the police came, we'd end up in prison, where everybody else would get off with a caution.
Very sad.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to be out of it and leading a normal life, a law-abiding citizen. Just go. Do you know what, Rick? If people was to be on my shoulder and film me when I go out of my door, through the course of the day, and you know me, Rick, through the course of the day, I will interact with people I do not know. I'll have conversations with them, and I will have a laugh with them.
Of course, yeah.
Absolute strangers. Am I a menace to society? Or am I someone society would like to have out here, knowing that I'll do more good than I've ever done bad, and I'll be straight at someone's aid if I thought they needed it?
Well, you're a valued member of society, aren't you? You're out there doing good for people. You're trying to help prisoners, ex-prisoners. So,
trying to.
You're doing good, aren't you?
Like handing out the food to the home. I don't want to be seen like a, you know, the bloody do-gooder and that, but I lead a life, and I'm happy with my life.
Well, what we'll do, Kev,
I know.
What we'll do is, obviously, when you do come up, we'll get you in this room. We'll do another podcast, do a podcast face-to-face, talk a bit more in depth about yourself, your upbringing and everything. Yeah, let the viewers have a look at your story. I know they might have seen you on the other podcast, but obviously I do things a little bit different on my podcast. I might ask questions a bit differently. We've spent time together in prison, so I think people find it a bit more.
No, I don't want to talk about when. I don't want to talk about what happened.
Talk about the showers
between me and you. Listen, I don't always talk to people like this.
You can see who was.
I would like that.
You can see who was the giver.
Yes, Daddy. At least we can laugh, folks. You know.
That's it, if you didn't laugh, it's right.
Buddy, I really appreciate your thick, buddy. Yeah. Rick, I don't mean to cut it short, buddy, but I'm actually on site today.
So, mate, it's been interesting talking, mate. Nice one. Appreciate it.
Rick, I've loved talking to you, mate. It's like, you know, Ricky, you're such a good soul, mate. That's
nice
all you people who don't really know him. He was a real quiet man in prison, polite and respectful.
Yeah.
Didn't bother no one. And that's what you got there, real gentleman.
Nice one. Thanks a lot, Kev. Cheers, mate.
All right, buddy. And God bless you and the family, Rick. And I'll be in touch, mate.
Nice one. You as well, mate. Take care.
Take care, buddy. Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.